Well, hello, good evening, welcome to Fido Live 98. We haven't made it this far. Okay, as you probably already know, we don't have the chief colorist, so thus everything is still black and white. Let me see if I can get this mess organized. Tuesday. Alright, you know that from last week I've already done Monday, so here is the Tuesday one. Where's my eraser? Usually I would say that all we got to do is erase this and then get it over the chief colorist, but, well, we don't have the chief colorist. I'm guessing another 4 to 6 weeks before we'll ever see her back here. And the reason why it's not colored is because I don't like to color. And I only do the things I like to do, and why are we here? To make me happy. I would not be happy if I had to do the coloring. Alright, let me, rather than finish erasing this, let me read this to you. We have Fido, Bo, and Felicia, and Fido is offering food off his plate to Felicia. It looks like you don't have enough. Have some of mine. That's very nice of you, Fido. What did you do to it? Nothing. And Felicia takes off. So Fido has all the food. You planned that. Being untrustworthy often pays off. Okay, there's Tuesday. Needs to be erased and recorded. Here is the Wednesday comic strip. We have a wolf and a tiger. The proud descendant of the wolf prowls his domain. The clever tigeress takes the high ground. Well, you two cut it out. And they're back to their normal stuff. And suddenly they're looking at him as a monkey. Wolf and tiger again. Domestication might have taken our edge away. The police is biting into his shoulder and he's latched to Bogash's leg. I'll do a quick erasure on this. But yeah, my jobs include writing, laying it out, drawing it, inking it, and erasing. Why should I add coloring to it? Alright, here is Thursday. We have Fido, Bo, Felicia, Dino. Bo says, dinner served. What's this? Tuna, your favorite. On a paper plate? I haven't done the dishes yet. Fido's already taking off and came back. Here's a dirty one. Thanks. I don't even know why they wash them. Yeah, it kills the flavor. So there is Thursday. And these are generally all done. Haven't gotten as much done this week as I should have. It's been a busy week visiting the chief colorist at her, where she's learning how to walk again. Alright, here is our Friday. So how much of this can you see? Let me look at the camera. Not very much. We'll be inking this today, so I'll zoom in closer later on, and you can see we've got a different view of the bar. I probably should have drawn this on tonight's broadcast just because of the mess of drawing the bar, which I'll explain later. So Fido says to Felicia and this Bo and Dino, hey, that's my chair. Prove it. I marked it. You know how dogs mark things. Ew! And she jumps up on the bar. And I thought that was cat that I've been smelling. No, it's dog piss. Alright, there's the Thursday, and Friday. Here is Saturday. Felicia has Fido's collar in her hand, dog collar. This thing has your name on it. Yeah, and pushes her away. Do they think you're likely to forget? I like to let them underestimate me. Alright. So that's more or less all we got here for Fido this week. Let's say we go in here, we do the word balloons, then I'll zoom the camera in and we'll talk about background and all the other mess. Alright, let's pick a brush. Yes. I guess you've seen all these brushes in the past. There's the old one, there's one of the new ones, and how ratty it looks. Yeah. So these brushes are made of the finest Himalayan tree squirrel pubic hair. And, to account for their expense, as we have to send the Sherpas up the Himalayas to denude the squirrels of their pubic hair. brush looks like it might do. Look at the edge there. It's slightly... I don't know. Can I deal with that brush? We got one back here that we've been using most of the week. What do you think? Yeah. See, I'm worried about this brush because you see right there how it's starting to make a secondary movement. I'm gonna put this away. Take this one instead. Spend more time picking brushes. Alright, cartoonists are the dirtiest, filthiest creatures on the face of the planet, so I must wear a glove on my hand so that I do not transfer any of the dirt, filth from myself onto this nice virginal clean paper. And also a big problem is that just touching this paper, the pencil I use, oftentimes makes smudge marks, as you can see. So I don't want to smudge the pencil marks either. Thus, I generally like to put down a piece of paper. And here's my favorite old-fashioned one. Disney, celebrating 100 years, 90 of them good. So the latest thing to take on the Disney stank would be Taylor Swift. We originally thought she was going to play Dazzler in the Deadpool movie, but who knows? Apparently, now they're saying she's going to play someone called the Blonde Phantom, a character I've never heard of. But Taylor, why are you putting Marvel stank on yourself? You know this can't end well. Speaking of putting Marvel stank on yourselves, Terry Matalas, who's famous for Picard Season 3, the only worthwhile Picard to watch, is to do Vision with, what's his name? Yeah, the guy who plays the Vision. Well, Terry, I don't know how Paramount let you go. You were the last and only Trekkie, the only one of this entire era to do a good Star Trek. And they let you go, and now you're going to do an obscure Marvel character. I wish you well, Mr. Matalas. If anyone can do a good job, hopefully it will be you. And speaking of bad jobs, Ncuti Gatwa and Doctor Who ratings are in. Episode 1 got 2.6 million people. Episode 2, 2.24 million people. Episode 3, 2.04. So you can see the numbers are dropping. The joke being the audience is touching grass rather than watching this ass. Famously, Ncuti said anyone who doesn't like him playing Doctor Who should go out and touch grass. Okay. That's that. Morgan Spurtwell from Super Size Me has died of cancer at 54. I worked for McDonald's in college around the time that Super Size Me came out. The whole thing about everyone knew that McDonald's food is not anything good to be eating every day, but they tried to duplicate his experiment, as it were, in Germany with college students, and were unable to do so. And they had to contact him to try to figure out what they were doing wrong. And the corporate chills from McDonald's were saying, well, what he was doing wrong was he wasn't disclosing that he was doing crystal meth while doing the documentary. Now, I can't say he did crystal meth. However, I do know he had a little alcohol problem. I don't know. Anyway, Mr. Spurwell has passed away of cancer. He's not going to be doing the trilogy Super Size Me, but he doesn't need to. McDonald's is already putting itself out of business. In order to stay alive, they're doing a $5 meal deal, which is a McDouble, small fries, 5 nuggets, and a Coke, I guess. And that's not enough to pay the employees their raised paychecks, so it's going to be a limited time only. McDonald's is hoping to bring its customers back, and it doesn't look good. Speaking of not looking good, I saw Jennifer Lopez's Atlas after, of course, listening to all my friends on the YouTubes saying that how horrible it was. And I've got to be honest, it wasn't all that bad. In fact, Fido generally doesn't take an opinion on things, but we're giving it a thumbs up. It wasn't that bad, and the only thing I can think of to make it better would be to not cast Jennifer Lopez and not cast Shang-Chi, Shido whatever his name is. Just get rid of your stars. And it probably would have been a better film. But as it was, we'll talk about it today. And since I had planned on talking about it today, let's look at J-Lo back in her better years. What the hell? Always happy to look at a better looking woman. Jeez, I never knew she had these stomach muscles. Look, she's got a... Well, let's get in here with the pencil here. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's got an 8-pack. Yeah, geez. Look at this thing. Goes down here, the whole baby belly, and these hips, which famously support what you don't see here, which apparently is her biggest asset, as it were. And she's got these muscles, big shoulders. Yeah, she looks like she can kick your ass. Yeah. This is J-Lo in her early Ben Affleck days. All right, let's. Irving, camera 1. Could you zoom in here? Give me a frame about around there. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Irving. Ah, that's perfect. And we got J-Lo right there in the frame. Yes. All right. Now, everyone there drawing a comic strip at home. We are working with Doodlers, Heart of Darkness Inc. Always look for Cthulhu as your sign of quality and artist inks. We're nearly out of this. You can't really tell. Got about that much of this left. We're gonna need more ink this week. Yeah, this is nearly empty too. Am I gonna do this bit again where I let's move this over here. We're gonna get ink splatters on anyone. We'll get it on J-Lo. I've got to add more ink to my jar, and I've been doing it with this stopper lately. I don't know. I don't think that really does the job right. Let's see if we can tempt fate and do it the old-fashioned way. There we go. That did a much better job. Who needs a stopper? Important safety tip: always put the cap back onto your ink bottle. And J-Lo, would you mind moving off a little bit so we can see what we're doing here? Yes. Okay. Before I dip the brush in here, I probably should explain how this particular panel was made. Now, I made my vanishing points way up high. So one was over here, and the other one was over there, right here on the cat's cheek. So, as you can see, here is the bar, there, and for this side, the bar, I put the mark on the vanishing point, there. And usually I draw the bar from this side, so we'll be looking right over here would be the wall that you usually see on Fridays, and we seldom see the bar from this direction. There's the bar taps, and I put the cat boss over there. But after I draw the background and all these stools and the mirrors and and then I do the perspective on all these stools, then you got to put the characters in. So my first character in this case would be Dino, and then I draw Bo and I erase everything that was behind him that was Dino. And I draw the cat boss and the cat Felicia, and then Fido, erasing everything behind them. And you get a lot of erasures. A lot of the stuff you draw never shows up. Alright, let's actually we're just doing the word balloons right now and coming back later on to do the characters, right? Sure. Now everyone remembers how simple a word balloon is, and actually this is good because it'll give me a chance to get the brush up and running before I try to do tiny little characters. You don't ever want to draw tiny little characters. Okay. Well, we'll do this with the help of J-Lo. And maybe whilst I'm drawing, I can recount the wonderful film that was Atlas. Of course, it wasn't perfect. I do have my criticisms. She did not have to be this genius girl boss, and in fact, if she was a little bit more fallible, the movie would have been a lot more enjoyable. But I'm not going to lump all that hatred on J-Lo that everyone else seems to want to do. I think when I first saw the previews of this, my joke was the menstruation is strong with this one. And I do apologize, J-Lo. That was beneath me. I could come up with a better joke than that. I wasn't trying. Yeah, let's put J-Lo's naked over here. Naked J-Lo back up here. Maybe we can try to see what Ben Affleck saw in her. I've long said that if we ever do animated Christmas special, I wanted Ben Affleck and Matt Damon to do the voices. I want Ben to be Bogash and Matt Damon to play Dino. So I've got to be extra careful what I say in reviewing Atlas here, because they may or may not take revenge upon me by not doing the voices. So Atlas was a splendid film. J-Lo did a wonderful job acting. Even I can't back that up. But it's an action film. You're not expecting much. Getting by all the ego trip shit that she put in there to make herself look the bestest ever. It was fine. We open up, they tell the history, a robot terrorist. I don't even have his name. Probably not. Harlan. Oops, I just hit the camera. Robot terrorist by the name of Harlan, played by Shang-Chi, otherwise known as Simu Liu. Unites all robots and artificial intelligence creatures to try to wipe out the human race. Now, when I was looking at this thing on the screen, the battle seems to be occurring in the Middle East. So it's just my observation. Is the movie telling us that all terrorists come from the Middle East? Wow, that's controversial. So all the humans unite under the ICN, which is the International Coalition of Nations. I would like to think that if we ever did have to unite for a genocidal war, that we'd come up with a better name. But anyway, it's the ICN. And they're able to beat back the robots who, and they give us this number. In 10 days, they kill off 1 million people. I'd expect better numbers. But they act like it's a big thing, so okay, sure, it's a big thing, whatever. And 28 years later, we have a J-Lo at her current age, sleeping on her couch in a big itchy sweater with her Buddy Holly / Drew Carey glasses on. She wakes to the news that the police or SWAT team has captured a particular robot character, not Harlan, not Simu Liu, but this big football player sized guy, whom was played by someone else famous, but yeah, come on. I'm a cartoonist, I'm not a movie reviewer, so I don't know who he was. But I think I just saw him in a TV commercial today. Or at least someone who looked just like him. And they do show the capture of this guy, and he beats the crap out of a army of SWAT before they eventually do some robot thing to take him down. So J-Lo rushes off because I guess she is the expert on all things robot terrorists, and she's able to get into question him, interrogate him. And through her sheer cleverness, she's able to discover that Shang-Chi, otherwise known as Harlan, who has hopped in a rocket and left the planet Earth, is on some planet in the Andromeda Galaxy or something. So the Earthlings decide they're going to do a raid and capture Shang-Chi. Alright, let's get in here and some of the cool things. They show Hollywood, and the Hollywood sign's been ripped down and replaced by these ugly tenement buildings that are still shaped like HOLLYWOD, you know. And all the cities that they do show have this pretentious, unworkable architecture, all these squiggly lines and everything, to show that, well, this is the future, as you see. We can't have sensible architecture. Geez, I'm out of soda. Coke, I mean, I hate saying that. Jeez. You know, I never said the word soda. My wife came up with that friggin' word. It even vibrates in my ears when I say it. I say it with a terrible Boston accent. Soda. Alright, let's see how much of Fido we can get drawn here. Wonder if I'm gonna go up and just grab another drink. It is 88 degrees at Cobbett Hill Studios right now. It is hot. If we end this thing early, it's because the chief cartoonist here has completely run out of liquid in his body because he's sweated it all away. So where were we? Oh yes, we were talking about Atlas. So we discover that the army that's going out to capture Shang-Chi these people that have these robot bodies and very agile. Usually when you see these big hulking Japanese anime robots, they move slow and cumbersome, and these things are dancing and running around the place, which I guess was one of the selling points for the whole movie. And these are robots with pronouns. They do want to be called he, she, it, or whatever. They don't want to be called it. That's probably one of the few like cringe moments and nods to modern day sensibilities that this show has, which is something that's been pointed out by the anti-woke crowd, saying, "See, they got pronouns. Robots got pronouns now." Grow up. Pick your battles. That's not something that's going to concern me. So they take off. She says they must take her with them because she is an expert on this particular robot terrorist, Harlan, Shang-Chi. Well, they drag her along with them. And while en route, they do that classic thing that you see in Star Trek, where she's got a window and all these particles are like flying by outside, because they just can't do what would probably be out looking out your window if you were in a spaceship traveling very fast. It would just be black and feel like you're not moving. But no, they've got to give us the appearance of movement by having all the stars fly by and particles. But, yeah. So it's one of those sci-fi things that think that we're stupid and we need to see pretty pictures. So she goes down to do the briefing, and it's got stacks and stacks of paper. People laugh, where did you find a printer? Because I guess the paperless office is now a reality in the future. But she demands that all of them take out their links to their robots. This is going to be a top secret briefing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. And in the middle of the briefing, the robots attack. They punch a hole in the airlock, and everyone who's not bolted down flies out the window, except for J-Lo, who seems to have been able to grasp onto a bar, and she's hanging on as she's being pulled horizontally. They rescue her and they plop her into a robot. And this is more or less the scene that we saw in the previews that we all laughed at. I think my joke was Jennifer was saying, "Gee, how can I do a movie where I get to just sit down and do all my acting in a seated position?" But no, they actually got her moving around inside this robot, so it's not that. Just wonder. Oh, I'll get back to that later. She is ejected, as is a bunch of the other robot army people, and on the way down, they're all attacked by the enemy robot AI. But J-Lo's not attacked because her thing's not powered up, and she's barely able to get the thing to not splatter on the planet's surface. And when she comes alive again, she realizes that she's the only one left. Actually visits the scene where the carnage has occurred. Every other military person is dead. And we already have a ticking clock here because they say, well, you've got 23 hours left of charge. And I guess she could not have taken some power from any of these damaged robots that she ran into. But what do I know? It wasn't put forth as a possibility. We're stuck with this ticking clock, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. So, okay, ticking clock. Fine. They discover that J-Lo is there, and all the robots go to attack her. And she sets off a particular nuclear blast against the wishes of her AI robot, which eventually causes a sinkhole to open up, and she falls a couple hundred feet on the ground. Using her innate genius, she discovers that there are underground caverns, and she could work her way out. And checking the inventory of all the weapons online, she has proximity mines, motion detectors, and she comes up with a plan because she knows they're going to be waiting for her out there. So she sets up mines, which eventually do take a few of them out. And she escapes into a tornado, a la Wizard of Oz. And we have J-Lo, one of the funny things, I don't know why they do this, but when the robot wanted to fly there, but she said, no, if we fly, they'll shoot us down. We've got to walk. And the robot suit, for some reason, has these foot pads that you can shuffle your feet on, and that will make the robot walk. Why? That makes no sense at all. So all we basically get now is, J Lo doing her exercises while sitting down, and that becomes more or less the entire movie. Her shuffling her feet while she sits in a chair. But yeah, I guess for some reason the way these robots operate is if you shuffle your feet while in a sitting position, the robots themselves walk. No, okay. That makes no sense. Well, after she runs across all the dead rangers that I mentioned, and doesn't take any of their batteries to help power her suit, she gets into another fight, and she falls and somehow breaks her leg while inside the robot. The robot has a triage system to patch her up. Okay. I guess that's a character moment with her and getting to trust the robot AI. I guess. All right. And the robot AI wants to get her to a safe place. I guess there's a safety capsule to get her to. Now, they did not really explain this. Well, they explained it a little bit. They said that you couldn't breathe the air on there. But they've got these things. Let's see if hey, J-Lo, help me out here. That seem to go under the chin like this. And when out of the robot, this is how you breathe, from these things that you can just snap. They look like a barrette that you put in your hair, but instead they're wearing it under their chin. And I guess that is their oxygen thing. And there's even a scene where, like, the robot can give the last of its power to one of these bands here to provide more oxygen for the human. So they never explain how those things under their chins work. Although it's just sort of taken for granted as part of the sci-fi technology that explains how they're able to be outside of their robots sometimes on this planet. So, okay. Now, there's a survival pod that the robot thing wants to get J-Lo back to, but J-Lo says this is our only chance. We can triangulate where his message back to his boss, Shimu or Shang-Chi, is. He can't be far away. Let's find him. We'll put a marker on him, and then we can bomb him from orbit. Oh, they figure out more or less where the broadcast came from. They track Shang-Chi's hideout down, and he's built a little city there on this planet, and she buries a tracker in the mud so that they know where to bomb. This never comes up again in the film, but while she's there, she wants to get a closer look because she notices that they have captured the spaceship that J-Lo came in on. Oh, okay, now hear me out here. This spaceship has enough nuclear weapons on it to destroy the entire planet Earth. And they sent this out to the robot terrorist. Okay, so the robot terrorist, Shang-Chi, has captured the spaceship and presumably all the nuclear weapons, and they infer that he is going to send it back to Earth to destroy all of mankind. Now, J-Lo has to take a closer look to see what they're doing. And for the first and only time, they're able to completely knock out J-Lo's robot, incapacitate him, and capture her. So if they were able to, knock out the robots like this, I don't know why they never did it before and why they never did it again. A skill like that would have really come in handy a little bit later in the film, where J-Lo is fighting the Shang-Chi character. But oh well. They capture J-Lo, and they got her sweaty, sexy body strapped to a table. Kind of like that. But just put 20 years on this. And she's next to the captain of the Marines, or Rangers, who was also captured. Earlier in the film, Shang-Chi had stuck a needle in the guy's eye and gotten his codes to unlock the security gates around the planet Earth. Now all he needs is a set of codes from J-Lo herself, so that he can send the ship back to Earth and wipe out all of mankind. And it is at this point that we actually get his plan, which I wrote down here. Okay, this is his plan. Since humans threaten every species, including their home planet, it is only a matter of time before they destroy themselves. I cannot let that happen. I will purge the vast majority of the population, and then, from its ashes, the survivors will inherit a new birthright, one of peaceful coexistence with everything around them, guided by us, their AI counterparts. So yeah. I've got to get rid of everyone to save everyone. Is the plot of this, of the villain. So, and we find out that early in the film, when they captured early in the movie, when they captured the football player guy, that was part of his plan, because he knew that she would interrogate him. He knew that she would find out on what planet he was on, and he knew that she was going to accompany whatever military force was sent to take him out. And why did he know all this? Because while J-Lo is an expert on Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi is an expert on J-Lo. I keep on calling him Shang-Chi. I think the character's name is Harlan. But it doesn't really matter. If the character's name was Puddin' Pie, it would be the same. You know, Harlan, Puddin' Pie, Shang-Chi. Doesn't matter. So, of course, they have their big boss battle in the end. And just as Shang-Chi is putting the final killing blows on J-Lo's robot, and J-Lo's robot has taken her out in his hands and placed her lovingly on the ground, and J-Lo's sitting before the thing as he's up on top, sticking his lightsaber into the battery pack of the robot. He kills the robot and looks to where J-Lo is sitting, and there's this queen chess piece. Now, I hadn't mentioned the queen chess piece. It's sort of a symbol of the movie. I guess she used to play chess with Shang-Chi or Harlan or Puddin' Pie, whatever you want to call them. And also, whenever you have a movie written by stupid people who want to tell people that their character is intelligent, a good way of doing so is have them play chess against computers and win. So anyway, this queen chess piece has a magnet in the base, and she had used it earlier in the interrogation of the big football player robot, and it's kind of nebulous as to the importance of this chess piece, but oh well, it's the chess piece that's laying on the ground, and J-Lo's not there. She's behind him. She has somehow managed to sneak up behind him, climb up on this 18-foot tall robot with a stick of some sort, which she's able to ram into the back of Shang-Chi's head. I'm going to stick with Puddin' Pie. And she kills Puddin' Pie, knocks him to the ground, and rips out his AI, which was the mission in the end, to get his computer to figure out where he went evil. I'm thinking that there's just a switch in there saying good, evil, and you just have to flip the switch. But anyway, the mission, at that time, all the rest of the humans come to the rescue. perfect timing because everything is over. Puddin' Pie is dead. J-Lo has saved the day because she's the bestest ever. And that's more or less our film. I would say, you don't have to watch it in theaters, watch it on streaming, but you can't watch it in theaters. It's only on streaming, which is fine. I can't help but think that if they had stars other than Puddin' Pie, Shang-Chi, Shiyu Lu, and J-Lo, it probably would have been a contender for theaters. But I guess when everyone simultaneously laughed, I'm gonna get this up here. When everyone simultaneously laughed at this image, Netflix kind of knew that they couldn't get away with putting it in theaters. J-Lo's career is not over only because she has enough money to produce her own work. But realistically, it's over. All right, there's Dino. But the hatred for J-Lo online is remarkable. Oh, by the way, she drinks 5 coffees during this film, and you get to sort of understand all those coffee trips that poor Ben Affleck had to make to Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, yeah, here's another thing. When she's in the battle with the boss man, he more or less kills her, and the robot hits her with a defibrillator. And it's another case of Hollywood not knowing what a fucking defibrillator is. It's not something that's going to bring you back to life. The only cases in which they would ever use a defibrillator is if they have you like on an operating table and they can monitor what's going on here. I mean, the defibrillator is not something where they're going to put a couple of paddles up against your chest and shout clear and like shock you and bring you back to life. That's not how that piece of equipment is used. Well, Hollywood has done it again. Not the audience is usually stupid enough to not know the difference, but I would say. But I can't. I like to tell Hollywood we're not. Yeah. So I think we kind of get a little insight into why all of J-Lo's relationships have failed by this movie, because she's a completely unlikable human being, and she even says these lines right here. I don't like anybody. People always disappoint. And take it easy on poor Ben Affleck. I understand so much more about Ben now. I understand why he had all the alcohol problems. Why he had to do all the Dunkin' Donuts trips. But I don't get it. Is she that good looking? I mean, she looks kind of harsh. This is her in her prime, even, and she's got a harshness about her. She looks like she looks like she'd beat you up, and probably could. J-Lo started her career as a fly girl on In Living Color. She was a dancer, and famously on a news report, when talking about Jenny from the Block, her tour, Shepard Smith. I think the lines were, some people from the neighborhood would like to give Jenny a curb job rather than whatever. But rather, a curb job is when you put someone's face down on a curb and kick them so that you knock out their teeth on the curb. But rather than saying curb job, Shepard Smith famously said blow job. So Hollywood stars have become more and more odious as the years have gone on. It's all because of social media. We know too much about these people. And it's better that you know as little as possible about them, because you're not going to like them. And you gotta like them. You want to invite these people into your home, or make a special trip out to see them. And if you don't like them, you're not going to make that trip. You're not going to do that invite. Wow, I got sweat pouring off me. I'm gonna go to the refrigerator and grab another soda, Coke soda. Why don't you people talk amongst yourself? And hey, take a good look at J-Lo here. Tell me if you see anything wrong with this woman. And then when I come back, I'll tell you what you should have seen. Yeah, it wasn't long, I'm back. So while I was away, did you discover what was wrong with this woman? Well, I'll tell you what's wrong with this woman. She's not holding a sandwich. All right. A public service announcement from your friends at Fido the Comic Strip. Drink them if you got them, folks. Alright, we need to come up with a title for this week's show. And I don't know if we're going to call it Atlas. J-Lo. I didn't write anything down. Usually that's the first sign. Let's see, what else have we talked about? We talked about Terry Metalis, and Taylor Swift getting that Marvel stank on her. I can't believe Taylor Swift is going to play a Marvel character. She has a successful career. She can't possibly want to waste her time doing something as stupid as playing a superhero. I do not believe that there is a truck full of money large enough for anyone to back up to Taylor's door to get her to play a superhero. So, you heard it here first, folks. Taylor Swift will not be playing a superhero. Covered in sweat. And when I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. Alright, from J-High to J-Low. Now, Terry no. What can we call this one? What have we done? We've done Bogus Spurlock, Shooty Gatwa, there's Picard Season 3, there's Vision and Terry, and there's Taylor, of course. That's where we started here. I gotta come up. Excuse me. I gotta come up with a title. Join us, J-Lo. How about J-Lo's movie? I guess we could call it that. That's more or less all we've talked about during all inking today. Let me put this sucker up top on the magnets to dry, and we'll pull the next one down. There we go. I think I've got it. We'll take it from this joke here. I like to let them underestimate me, and everyone on the internet seems to have underestimated J-Lo because she didn't make a horrible film that we expected. So what do you think? Can we call this thing Underestimating J-Lo? Underestimating Atlas. Yeah, I think I'll stick with Underestimating Atlas. We on the camera here? Yeah. Irvin, camera one, can you zoom out just a little bit so that we can show what we're doing here? We like to put the title of whatever we're going to call this. And I guess this week is I'll call this Underestimating Atlas, because I was amongst the first out there who saw this, saw the preview, laughed about it, and I think I even made an unfair joke about J-Lo's age. And she didn't do that bad a job. It wasn't that bad a film. And it's horrible that we're going through these days that we're so harsh on our loveliest stars, particularly when they get a little old and a little bitchy, and, well, they take a good man like Ben Affleck and ruin him. And yes, Ben Affleck is a very good man in the annals of Fido the comic strip, because we want Ben to do the voice of Bo. We want him to use his influence to get his best buddy, Matt Damon, to play Dino. I don't think I have any work for J-Lo because she's got that accent, and I can't use the Jane character is a little bit too waspish to be played by J-Lo. I don't know. So I underestimated Atlas. I apologize to the makers of the film for being so harsh on it before it came out. It wasn't that bad. Just because everyone dislikes J-Lo and that she probably wasn't the best choice in the world for the part, there is no cause for a wiseacre like myself to trash your film before it comes out. I underestimated Atlas. Now, it wasn't a cinematic masterpiece. It wasn't anything great. C plus, B minus, C plus. Yeah. But in these days, that's fantastic. You generally don't get films that rise to that grade. Usually, the only reviews I do is to say whether to go to the theaters to see it or whether to watch it in streaming. But the producers of this film were smart enough to send it straight to streaming. So I did not have to make that decision. How are we doing here on time? 54 minutes. We're approaching an hour. Because of the temperature of the studio here, we're going to cut out at about an hour today. I'd like to thank everyone for joining me here, Fido the comic strip. It's been pretty lonely since the chief colorist has left us, but she will be back someday. And you get to hear her happy laughter and horrible Boston accent again. This joke is one from a couple of weeks ago when Fido first gets his collar put on. I just never got a chance to use, so yeah, I needed a Saturday. You know, J-Lo, you got a little bit too much side boob showing there. Here, let me help you out here. Let's put a nice bikini on you. There we go. And it's got a strap in the back. See, J-Lo, guy like me would dress you with his eyes. There you go. Now I would have never guessed. She's got an innie. And just the slight signs of a happy trail going on here. Yeah, J-Lo with the Sarah Connor muscles. It's not a show if I don't get a chance to draw on one of my women. Join us, bikini-clad J-Lo. She's just Jenny from the block. Got about 3 minutes left. I think we can just about finish off this panel. Yeah, I'm not happy with what I'm doing that. All right, we're going to call that quits for today. Now, everyone at home drawing a comic strip, always remember to put the ink back on your bottle. Try to get some of it on your fingers while you're at it, so that when you touch anything, you can smear a proper amount of ink. Always important. Thank you for joining us for Fido, the comic strip. This would be Fido Live number 98, Underestimating Atlas. One in which we apologize to Jennifer Lopez for making fun of her age and such. I'm a horrible person. Hope to see you next week. Bye.